Hi there, I'm Duncan Moss, and I'd like to welcome you to my latest YouTube channel video presentation. Today, I'll be looking at one of my favourite anthology fantasy television series. It's from 1976, and it's called Beasts. And it was all six episodes were written by Nigel Kneale, who was a very famous writer. He'd been writing material since the 50s. And 1976 was a very good year for him because the BBC had, during the summer, uh, a series of programs called Festival 40, which was celebrating 40 years or 34 years of British television, of course, because television did get interrupted by the Second World War. And it mentioned very heavily Nigel Kneale's own creation, the Quatermass experiment, along with the other Quatermass follow-ups, and also his adaptation of George Orwell's 1984 with Peter Cushing. And that has attracted me very much to his work, although I hadn't seen any of them. I'd only seen clips. But here was a show that modern, written by the same guy, and I thought it must be good. It turns out there was a play done a year earlier by Nigel Kneale, which was called, I believe it was called Moraine, and it was about a lady, an old lady in a village who's being pestered by the other villagers because they believe that she's a witch, and that was that is included in the wonderful network presentation of Beasts. It's put in as a sort of little preliminary one. Of course, networks don't exist at the moment, and but hopefully someone will pick it up. I'm not sure where it's available at the moment, but you'd have to check the internet for that. Sorry, I should have done that myself. The first episode to be broadcast, and I appreciate that what happened was that because it's an ATV series, it got shown at different times, different days, depending on what region you were in. And they were shown in different orders. Although it seems that most, certainly ITV, London Weekend, started with Special Offer, which stars a very young Pauline Quirk as a very shy little lady working in a supermarket, and she's basically has the mickey taken out of her by people behind her back, and she's very, very underconfident. And what happens, there's some sort of entity in the supermarket that is either on her side because she's a bit of a victim, uh, or part of her own anger that's building up because she has a crush on the manager of the store, but he's having an affair with a very dishy uh, Shirley Cheriton, uh, and that contributes to the anger. It's a superb special effects with bottles of tomato sauce exploding everywhere. It was great fun, and of course Shirley Cheriton would go on to, she'd already been a hit in Angels, and she was going to be Debs in EastEnders. So it's a good one. And of course, Pauline Quirk's career was just going all over the place at the time. So it was a good one to start the series rolling. As I say, it wasn't the one that was used in a lot of other areas. We've then got a second The second episode is called During Barty's Party. Rats can be in country houses a pain in the butt. Especially perhaps you can hear them under the floorboards. But it's very unusual for them to follow people around beneath the floorboards where they walk. The rats seem to go. This episode stars Anthony Bates and Elizabeth Sellers, and they're on they take part in a phone-in, and unfortunately the DJ mishears their name, because the rats are beginning to come more and more prominent, and they basically need help. And it turns out that somebody, either a rat, has gnawed through the telephone cable. A lot of theme in Beasts is about nature, not necessarily fighting back against the humans, but the very difficult relationship you can have between the two. It's very, very scary, and should enjoy. Horror buffs should really enjoy it. Then number 3, Buddy Boy, about a ghost of a dolphin that stars a very young Martin Shaw. A dolphin has died in the aquarium sort of place, in like Windsor Safari Park, or so, a lot smaller than the dolphin cage there. And Buddy Boy has died. He was a mischievous dolphin who used to sometimes do the tricks wrong deliberately, and he's died. And but it seems that the spiritual Buddy Boy is very much apparent in where the old display tank was. We've then got Baby, which for me is one of the most terrifying episodes of all, starring a very young Simon McCord. I can't pronounce it. McCorkindale, I think it's pronounced. Sorry if I've spelled it wrongly. I'm sorry, pronounced it wrongly. It's also got Jane Wymark in it, and T.P. McKenna. Basically, husband and wife, young husband and wife. The husband's a vet, have moved into this country house, and they found the skeleton of some animal that nobody can classify, and but it looks really evil. T.P. McKenna, I think he plays the senior vet who's going to take it home with him to do some lab tests, but he forgets it, and the couple are expecting a baby, and you just want that thing to go away from it's been discovered under a chimney, an old chimney, and you're just hoping that they're gonna get rid of it. But it's very, very spooky episode. Then we've got number 5. We've got What Big Eyes, which stars Patrick McGee and Michael Kitchen as an RSPCA officer who's showing great concern about this old man who's keeping wolves on his premises in cages. And what Patrick McGee is trying to do is trying to become a werewolf by injecting himself with serums of blood from the wolves, and it's very, very good. And the last one, which is my personal favourite, I understand it was Nigel Kneale's favourite as well, The Dummy, based on sort of like Hammer House of horror movies, or British horror. It's about a creature called the Dummy, which is Bernard Horsfall plays the guy Clyde Boyd, who's the guy who's always played the Dummy in the 6 or 7 Dummy movies that have been made. He's on the verge of a nervous breakdown because his marriage has collapsed, and he's also been stung by a tax bill. It's about him trying to play the character again and struggling against other factors. The Dummy costume has very powerful talons attached to the arms, and when Nigel Kneale he basically has a nervous breakdown and goes rampaging around the studio. I won't spoil. I've already told you too much already, but it's very good, and there are some wonderful character pieces, including a wonderful lady who goes around offering people cups of tea, with the idea that a cup of tea will solve every problem. Unfortunately, it's not going to do this in this case. We've got Clive Swift in a very fine role called a character called Bunny Nettleton. What he's doing is he's trying to get Clive out of this depression that he's in, and to try and get him back behind the camera, in front of the camera again. It was only there was only one series of it, and it was only shown once. But I was absolutely delighted when I found the series was coming out on DVD. It's well worth having a look around for, to see whether you can get it. The great thing about the show is that every episode is totally different from the one that comes after it. They're just 6 very individual, or 7 very individual stories. I've got here a picture of the Dummy from that Bernard Horsfall plays. I think it'd be wonderful if somebody made a model of that for sci-fi enthusiasts. I'm sure that it would sell. This is the front cover of the series. This is from Baby, and that, I think, is Jane Wymark, lovely actress. But a great series. Saturday night it was on in the London weekend area, and it was on fairly late, but I watched it, and I watched every one of them and thoroughly enjoyed them. So, as I say, have a look out for it and try and find it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Okay, if you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. You subscribe to my channel. It'd be lovely to have you aboard, or share it with a friend. But I'll be coming back very soon with another anthology series that came out roughly about the same time, give or take 9 months. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.